Hello everybody, it's Julia here with another reading for you. Today is Wednesday in the UK and it is the 2nd of March, and I know that for sure today because today is a new moon in Pisces. Pisces is a kind of mystical visionary sign. It relates to dreams, soulmates, poetry, intuition, all that kind of thing really. So a new moon in that sign really does give us the opportunity to work on the deeper side of ourselves and to also take advantage of this energy for manifesting our truest desires and wishes, whether that might be a personal goal or a relationship goal. This is really the ideal time to consciously focus our energy, our intent and our effort towards the thing that our heart desires. So in this reading, we're going to be exploring and bringing clarity to the energy of manifesting your heart's desire, including navigating any blocks or challenges or obstacles that you may be perceiving at this time. I think Mars and Pluto have got some sort of clash going on at the moment as well, and I think typically reading about that, it brings anger, it brings upset, it brings conflict. So obviously at this time with the new moon, it's a really good opportunity to focus some of that fiery energy into something more positive for ourselves. And I think, to be honest, it's much needed for all of us, isn't it? Because there's just so much going on in the world that is deeply unpleasant and deeply upsetting for most of us, really. I think all of the Russia and Ukraine business coming so closely following all of the COVID business, it's just, you know, I think for many people it's very distressing and very upsetting. And so I would imagine that anger and upset is quite prevalent within our psyches, within our consciousness, our collective consciousness at the moment. And I think it's very important to try and direct that anger and that strength of feeling into something more positive. So, as I said, this is going to be another pick a card reading. I'm just going to do 2 piles today because, to be honest, I just don't have the time to do 3. It takes quite a lot of time and energy, and also to upload a video that long actually took 3 hours. So I was staggered really. These videos are in HD and I just couldn't believe it took 3 hours to upload an hour-long video. So I'm keen to avoid spending quite so long on this video today, but I'm really excited and looking forward to doing this for you. As I said, I'm going to pick 2 piles. I'm going to start with my Chakra Oracle, which you will then be able to pick your card from, and then I will pause the video and I'll pick some more cards. I'll shuffle them and pick them, and then I'll pause the video and you can go to pile 1 or pile 2. There will be timestamps and chapters in the description box, which is below this video. And I think if you're watching this on your TV, I think often the chapters are above you. If you click upwards, you will see the chapters. They certainly are on my TV. So there we go. So thank you so much to all of my recent new subscribers. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all my viewers. I'm really grateful that you're here with me today, and I hope that you find something that's inspirational and something that's helpful to you within this video. So let me give my Chakra Oracle deck a shuffle and I shall pick a couple of cards, which you can then take your time, setting fire to my wood there, which you can then take your time to pick. Use your intuition Try not to think consciously about the decision that you're making. Sometimes it's useful just to take a deep breath, to close your eyes and to see what card you're drawn to, or to see which crystal you're drawn to, because I'm going to put something on the cards here. And then once you've chosen, like I said, if you're interested in seeing me shuffle and pick out the other cards, you can do that, or you can go straight to your video. So, for pile 1 and pile 2, what do they need to know at this time regarding manifesting their wishes and desires? Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so card number 1, we have divine consciousness. Divine consciousness, so this will be crown chakra energy. And for card number 2, we have love. And this is heart chakra energy. How beautiful. So, let me put that deck over there. So, I'll put them this way round for you, I think. So for pile number 1, we have crown chakra energy here. And I'm going to put a crystal skull on that. That's a fluorite crystal skull. And for pile number 2, we have a heart chakra card here, which is love. And I'm going to put a fairy on there for you. So if you'd like to choose your card, and I shall either see you for the next chapter, which is the shuffling and the dealing of more cards, or you can go right ahead to your pile. So thank you. Hello, so I hope that you've picked your pile, divine consciousness or love. Beautiful cards. So, as I said, I'm just going to shuffle and set up the piles for these cards. So the next card I'm going to use is another oracle card, and this is a numerology card, because I think if we're talking about manifesting wishes, if we're talking about manifesting anything really, I think we need to be looking at and aware of the synchronicities, of the signs and the omens around us. And often numbers can play a big part in that. I think sometimes we can see recurring numbers around us, and they can most definitely have quite a strong meaning for us at that time. As I said, they can be like a sign. So, Spirit, please, could we have a card for each of these piles here, please? Pile 1 and pile 2. Thank you. Okay, so 1 and 2. I'm also going to draw one of these little Rebel deck cards, which, if you've seen them before, you'll know that they have swear words on them. They're quite rude, they're quite blunt, they're quite to the point. They usually offer very good, to the point advice. So, Spirit, please, if we could have one of these cards each for pile 1 and pile 2, please, to help and give clarity for manifesting your wishes and desires at this time. Thank you. So we have I'm going to draw a last oracle card, and this is a goddess oracle card. These are beautiful cards that I must have had for 20 odd years, I think. I love these cards. So Spirit, please, if we could have some goddess energy to give clarity to these two piles here, please, for manifesting wishes and desires. Thank you. Okay. So we have 1, 2, and then my tarot decks. And I've got 2 here. I'm going to draw 3 cards from each. I've got my Lightseers deck here and my Radiant Weight Wise deck, I think they are. So yeah, so Spirit, again, could we have some clarity please for these 2 piles here? For manifesting your wishes and dreams and desires. Thank you. Thank you. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. Put that back there. And the last deck, as I said, the Radiant Weight Wise deck, I believe this is. So Spirit, please, final clarity here for this reading. For these 2 piles of cards. For manifesting wishes and desires at this time of the new moon in Pisces, please. Thank you. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. There we go. So, there we go. There's our 2 lovely piles here. So, I hope that you've already picked which card you want, Divine Consciousness or Love. Divine Consciousness was with the crystal skull and Love was with the fairy. So I shall see you for your reading. Thank you. Hello everybody. So we're here with pile 1, with your manifesting your wishes, a new moon in Pisces reading. So we have the first card, Divine Consciousness, which, as I said, is a crown chakra card. And the key words on this card are interconnection, expansion, oneness, and light. That's a fantastic card, really, isn't it, for manifesting your wishes? So this is really about having a connection with spirit, isn't it? With the source, with God, with spirit, with the universe, with whatever name you choose to give to that energy. But it's about having a direct connection with that energy, isn't it? The oneness and interconnectedness of life. I suppose so many of life's challenges would just fall away, wouldn't they, really? We would think that so many of the small little challenges that we face in our day-to-day lives, they would just fall away if we could only see the world through this kind of divine consciousness, which really radiates compassion and peace, doesn't it? And as I was saying earlier in my introduction, I think with the way that the world is at the moment, with some of the conflicts around the world, with a lot of the what I like to call nonsense, really, the nonsense of life, the things that just don't affect us ordinary people who generally just want peace and quiet and want to get on with our lives to the best of our ability. So many of those things at the moment, I think people are getting caught up in the fear and the distress and the anxiety of those events and how they might unfold in the world. So I think really ultimately this card is probably encouraging you to look inwards. It's probably encouraging you to take up or to strengthen your discipline of meditation, if that's something that you do, to be aware of your breathing, to breathe deeply, to breathe through anger, to breathe through distress. That's what this card is saying to me, really. So let's see what else we've got here in your piles. Wow. So in your numerology card, we've got 888, which according to this deck is an angel number. This is infinity, forever, and never-ending love. So yeah, that is infinity, isn't it? The 8 is an infinity symbol, and we've got 3 there. So I guess that would give that number some special significance, wouldn't it? This might be a number that you're seeing around you in life at the moment. This could be the number of a property that you live at, a house that you live at, a flat. It could just be a number that you're seeing around you a lot at this time, or a combination of 8s. But this goes very well with the divine consciousness, doesn't it? Being an angel number here, this is a divinely inspired number because it's the infinity symbol, which talks about forever, doesn't it? Forever. Okay. with the little rebel deck, we've got a fantastic card here. Shame, regret, and guilt. Those are just bullshit. Forgive and let that shit go. So again, fantastic advice. I love these cards. Shame, regret, and guilt, they are just bullshit. Forgive and let that shit go. I couldn't agree more strongly with the sentiment of that card, really, to be honest. I think some of the most painful emotions that I've ever felt in my life have certainly been to do with shame and regret and guilt. They're often about the things that we've done that we wish we hadn't have done, or regret perhaps even sometimes for not doing something that we look back on and wish that we had done. But we can't change those things, can we? We can't change the past. All we can do is try to make better decisions going forward. I often think that emotions like shame, regret and guilt are like toxins. They're like poisons within our body. They really don't do us any good in the long term. And I think they can actually they can start to affect our physical body, can't they? You know, we are creatures of energy, and I think that whatever we feel on an emotional level translates into our bodies, doesn't it? And it can affect us over time. So yeah, we've got a theme here going, haven't we, of compassion, I think, and peace, actually. Love, connection, compassion, and peace so far. Yeah. So your goddess card that we've got here is Ostara. which is beautiful, isn't it? Fertility. We're coming up to the time of spring now in the UK. Ostara is a fertility goddess. And it says on this card, it is the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. So again, this is beautiful energy to go with manifesting your wishes at the moment, isn't it? So this would really encourage you that whatever you would like to manifest at the moment, whether that be a change within yourself, some inner work, or whether that would be a change in your external world, that this is something that bodes well for you at this time. The energies are positive, aren't they? This is certainly a time of year for beginning new projects, I think, isn't it? For starting new things, for sweeping out the old and bringing in the new. And I think the old here could well be these kind of emotions around shame, regret, and guilt. So, there we go. So they are your oracle cards, pile number 1. And then with your tarot cards, we have the 7 of Cups. I'm just going to put them down on the table before I give you any interpretation of them. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Hanged Man. And then from the other deck we have the 5 of Wands. We have the 8 of Swords. And we have the King of Swords. Blimey. So, looking at your tarot cards here, I would say that just recently there may have been some things that you've struggled to make a decision over. There may have been some things that you've struggled to, you've had choices. And some of those choices have made you, have tempted you. I think even though you perhaps might know that they're not really the right thing for you, these choices may have tempted you in some way or another. The Ace of Wands is very much a card of new beginnings again, isn't it? It's a new spark of something, a new flame, a new energy, something sparking into life. Which is interesting because we've got light, haven't we? This is very similar actually, isn't it? If we look at this card here, and then we look at the Ace of Wands. To me, there's a very similar thing going on in these cards. You know, this flame that is being lit in this woman's psyche here, to me, is very similar to the divine consciousness here. Of this light spreading upwards and outwards, radiating around, bringing heat and warmth and love. Then we have the Hanged Man, which is a kind of suspended animation. It's a kind of looking at things from a different angle. It's taking time out to reflect and to grow. And I think that there's a need for that here, to be honest, pile number 1, because there is some conflict here in your tarot cards. You know, I'm looking at the 5 of Wands here, which, the 5 of Wands, what's the 5 of Wands? This is Leo energy. Just have a look at the astrology actually. We've got the 7 of Cups, which is Scorpio. We've got the Ace of Wands, which is fiery energy, which is Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. We've got the Hanged Man, who is water energy. We've got the 5 of Wands, which is Leo. We've got the 8 of Swords, which is Gemini. And we've got the King of Swords, which could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So yeah, as I was saying, there is a feeling that there has been some conflict for you just recently. I think you felt, it's like you've been part of something, that something has been going on that you've been part of, and it's just not felt right. It's felt like everybody is pulling in different directions, and something that ought to be very simple just has not been. It could be to do with the choices that I see here and the temptations around those things that I see here. There's certainly some conflict in your energy here, because the Ace of Wands is, as I said, is the start of something. It's a new passion, something lighting a spark within you. Something that's radiating out and spreading all around you. But then we also have the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man is kind of not doing anything. The Hanged Man is just trying to understand. The Hanged Man is contemplating, trying to work things out. The Eight of Swords is again quite a challenging energy, really. This is about feeling trapped and limited. Your perceptions of things perhaps not being quite accurate. Your perceptions of things being kind of skewed. Perhaps by your emotional state, perhaps by other people. In fact, almost certainly, I would say, by other people, and how that's making you feel. Because as I said, there's very much a feeling here of being part of something, but it not going smoothly, of there being conflict and people pulling in different directions. I think you, pile number one, know exactly what you should be doing and what everybody needs to be doing, but I think you're having trouble communicating that to the other people around you. The last card that we have here is the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is somebody that likes to understand things, that likes the truth of things, somebody who's clever, you know, somebody who can work things out, who's logical. Not necessarily the life and soul of the party, but somebody you can rely on and depend upon. I think they're honest. I don't know whether this is you or somebody within your life. There is very much a feeling here that you perhaps have been trying to start a new project recently, but it's just brought challenges for you. And I can feel your frustration here. I can feel your frustration. So yeah, I think that whatever it is that you're trying to manifest at the moment, and there is certainly a creative project here, there is certainly something that you would very much like to be successful at, to achieve something, to make something, to be part of something. There is very much that feeling here, but it's like an uphill struggle, isn't it? It's like an uphill struggle. And I think really what the message of this reading, really, if we were to look at sort of navigating the blocks and challenges that you're facing at this time, I think it would be to just try and try to be a light unto yourself, if you know what I mean. I think that to have expectations of other people is a dangerous path. Generally, people let us down. People are unaware of our expectations. Unless we communicate very, very clearly, people are often unaware of our expectations and unaware of what we need. So I think, as I said, I think to be a light unto yourself, to practice the discipline of meditation, to set up some kind of spiritual practices for yourself if you haven't done so already, to journal, to write your thoughts and feelings down, to pray, to meditate, to practice compassion for other people, to practice acceptance of other people, and to perhaps try to approach this new project, this new creative project, to try to approach it from a different angle, to try and look at it from a different angle. And I don't know what that might be for you. As I said, it may well just be around how you interact and how you connect with the people around you. Because this is not a project that I see you doing completely alone. I think that this project kind of relies upon other people to a degree. And I think that perhaps you need to just look at how you're doing things, what your expectations are. And to perhaps, instead of projecting some of your frustrations and some of your thoughts and feelings outwards onto other people, to perhaps look at them within yourself and to try and deal with them within yourself, to think about the relationship mirror, that often the things that we find irritating and frustrating in other people are things that we don't like within ourselves. But I think overall, really, the energy of this reading is of compassion. It's about self-love, about making good choices, about nurturing that inner flame within yourself, about lowering your expectations of other people, of seeing ourselves as all connected, of not seeing the differences, trying not to see the separateness of us all, but to try and see the connectedness of us all, to see that we're all the same, really, essentially, underneath. The vast majority of us in life just want a quiet and peaceful life. We want to be loved, we want to be cared about, we want to be thought about. We like to pursue our hobbies and our passions. We're all quite similar, aren't we, when it comes down to it? Although some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts, some of us are more logical, some of us are more creative. We all experience love in different ways. We all experience our connection to the divine in different ways. But essentially, at our core, I think most of us want quite similar things. And I think that this reading is encouraging you to remember that. And that I think that in that acceptance of yourself and that acceptance of other people, will you find what you're looking for. I think sometimes less is more. And I think, just to finish your reading off here, pile number 1, I think this is fantastic advice. Shame, regret and guilt, they are just bullshit. Forgive and let that shit go. So at this time of the new moon, whatever it is that you've been harbouring, whatever grudges, whatever resentments, whatever painful stuff from your past that you're carrying around with you, I think this is really the time for you to try and go inwards, to connect with your divine energy, to connect with your own inner light, your own inner flame, and to try to let those negative emotions and those negative thoughts and patterns, to let them go. So there we go, pile number 1. I hope that that was helpful for you. If you like my style of reading, if you like these videos, I'd be really grateful if you'd give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. That really does mean the world to me. I love doing these videos, and without you, my viewers, there's no point to me doing them, is there? So yeah, I hope that that was helpful for you, and blessings to you at this new moon, and look after yourself, and I shall see you again soon. Thank you. Hello, pile number 2. Just clearing the energies here. There we go. So, what did we have for you, pile number 2? We had the fairy, didn't we? And the love card. And I don't know about you, but to me, this love card, well, the keywords on this card are kindness, benevolence, sharing, and receiving. So this is a card about giving and receiving love, isn't it? About giving and receiving unconditionally, to give and receive without attachment. This is a card of healing and of compassion. This is about love not only for yourself and those around you, those in your life, but also the love that you might feel for the world, for the universe, for spirit, for all of those things. This could be a card about learning your love language, learning about what makes you tick, learning about the love languages of the people in your life, the people that you care for. I think it's always important to have a full love tank as possible, so that's always a good thing to learn about. But anyway, we shall see what we get here with your cards. Ooh, we've got another angel card here. Pile number 1 had an angel card. They had 888, and you've got 999. Wow. Make a decision or change what you've been putting off. So I don't know what that might mean to you people. This might be a number that you might see around you. I know in the UK, unfortunately, 999 is the number of the emergency services. So I do hope that that's not how this number will be relevant to you, pile number 2. But this deck here, this numerology deck here, has 999 as an angel number, so that's a special number. And I think when we're looking about manifesting our wishes and desires, I think that part of that that's important is to be looking around at signs and synchronicities and omens within your life. And often we see numbers reoccurring, don't we? We see patterns of numbers. Some days I see the number 33 everywhere. You know, I think it's useful to keep an eye out for these numbers because they can sometimes mean something important to us. So, the Rebel deck. As I said, these are often quite rude. There's a lot of swear words in these cards, but they're often quite to the point in the advice that they give. And this card is saying laugh. And where the fuck is your sense of humour? Perhaps your sense of humour, pile number 2, has disappeared with this Mars energy that's around at the moment. It's quite a charged energy, I think, and I know that many people have been feeling upset and angry and struggling to see the humour in life. So perhaps this will be good advice for you. With the Goddess card, we have Coventina, which is purification. This is a beautiful energy. I do like this card very much. It is a time for cleansing, detoxification of your body and your mind. So already I'm starting to feel that perhaps this reading is a reading of self-love. You know, we've got the card of love there, haven't we? We've got a card encouraging you to laugh and to actually feel something positive, some lightness. And then we've got a card here of purification, which really is cleansing and detoxification of your body and your mind. So we will see what comes up in your tarot cards here. Pile number 2. Sorry, I am keep on and off with my heater. I get too hot and then too cold. So, with the Lightseers deck, I'm just going to put these on the table and then I shall try to interpret them for you. We have the 2 of Wands, which is Aries. We have the 8 of Wands, which is Sagittarius. There's a lot of fire energy here. We have the 10 of Cups, beautiful, Pisces energy, which is followed by the 9 of Swords, which is Gemini. I'm so pleased to see Pisces actually here in your reading with the 10 of Cups. That's quite auspicious actually, isn't it? Beautiful. We've got another 9 here. We've got the 9 of Wands. So that's Sagittarius again. And then lastly, we've got the 8 of Cups. And the 8 of Cups is Pisces again. So Pisces has shown up twice in your reading here. So let's have a little look at these. So with the 2 of Wands, we're looking at a choice. We're looking at making a decision. We're looking at trying to decide which way to go, what to do. Wands are doing cards, really. They're cards of manifesting energy. They're fiery energy. So it's nice to see some Wands in your reading. We've got the 8 of Wands, which is very, very swift, fast-moving communication. This is mastery of your environment. This is success and action, but fast-moving, lots of things going on. Sometimes the feeling of overwhelm, really, with the 8 of Wands. It's a card of a lot of activity. We've got the 10 of Cups, which is beautiful Pisces, and it's Mars in Pisces actually, and as I said, we're having a lot of issues with Mars and anger at the moment, haven't we? So to see Mars in Pisces here with the 10 of Cups, which is really just a beautiful card of emotional fulfillment, isn't it? This is kind of the completion of a cycle. This is having everything that you could ever want, or dreaming about everything that you could ever want, perhaps. But then we have the 9 of Swords, and the 9 of Swords is dark, negative energy. It's feeling burdened and weighed down by your thoughts, by your own thinking processes. Sometimes feeling like you might be stuck in a bad dream. You know, to me it's almost like Groundhog Day. It's like you wake up and it's like, oh, is it this again? It's that kind of thinking. With the Nine of Wands, we again have a person feeling quite troubled and quite burdened. Somebody who's been trying to juggle a lot of different energies. Somebody who's been working very hard to succeed at something. And feeling quite defeated and quite fed up about that, I think, actually. You can see on his face, it's almost like he's saying, I dare you to fall down. You know, it's taken me all this time to get you to all stand up in a row, and I dare you to fall down. And then we have the Eight of Cups here, which is walking away, isn't it? Leaving perhaps a place of safety, walking away into adventures unknown, leaving things that might be comfortable to you behind, maybe taking a risk, taking control back of your own life. I do very much feel that this reading is a reading of primarily of self-love, and that if you've been trying to manifest your wishes or your dreams, I think you've been weighed down by that, if I'm honest. I think you've struggled to do that. I think perhaps you've been giving out a lot of your energy. I don't think you've been taking in a lot of energy. I don't think you've been that kind to yourself. I think you've been trying to look after everybody else. It could be even that you've been trying to look after somebody that's poorly and you're worn out, to be honest. Like I said, it's like you've lost your sense of humour, like it's just disappeared under the burden of your responsibility, of the sheer amount of activity, the sheer amount of different pulls on you and your time. I think it's worn away at your self-esteem. I think it's worn away at your self-confidence. I think whatever you've been trying to achieve, it's been like an uphill struggle, and I think it's left you feeling a bit defeated and a little bit negative. And I very strongly get the feeling here that you've not really been looking after yourself particularly. You might not have been eating well. You might not have been getting enough sleep. You know, some of these thoughts could have been keeping you up at night. There's lots here to say that you've not been looking after yourself the best that you could. So I think really this reading is a little bit of a prompt for you to invest back in yourself. You know, I don't think that you can manifest any dreams or wishes or desires from a place of exhaustion, from a place of negativity, from a place of defeat, or from a place of fear and worry and anxiety. I think this reading is very much calling you to lighten up a little bit if you can, to perhaps try and have a little bit of trust and faith in the universe, to have some trust and faith within yourself actually, to be kind to yourself. And we've got this energy of sharing and receiving here, haven't we? And as I said, I do very much feel that you are in need of some investment in yourself. You are in need of some receiving. I think looking at these cards, you've been giving an awful lot. Your investment has been outwards. towards those people that you love, that you care about. But what about you? What about you? I think that laughing, having a sense of humour, being able to smile and see the lighter side of things is really, really important, actually. In the reading that I did before for pile 1, this was about divine connectedness and divine consciousness, wasn't it? And about the fact that if we were able to rise above many of our day-to-day sort of obstacles and challenges, I think a lot of the time we would see them through different eyes. They would not be so important, they would not be so exhausting and so soul destroying as they often are. I think that we struggle to see the wood for the trees sometimes, don't we? We struggle to see the bigger picture of life. And that life is full of ups and downs. You know, sometimes life is 1 step forward and 2 steps back. But it's about having a growth mindset, isn't it? It's about being positive, about having your eye on a goal, about setting goals for yourself. Flexible goals, obviously, not rigid ones. Flexible goals. And about being kind to ourselves, being gentle with ourselves. These expectations of other people, we must be careful not to have expectations of ourselves in the same way. Yeah. So yeah, I think that the general advice of this reading for you really in your quest to manifest your wishes and desires here is to give something back to yourself. To not perhaps look from the outside for people to give you what you need, but for you to find what you need for yourself. To challenge some of these more limiting thought processes that you might have. To nourish your body and your mind, to really invest in your body and your mind, to be kind to yourself, and to try and find some balance with the giving and the receiving of love within your life, because it does feel at the moment that perhaps things are not quite in balance for you. So yeah, there we go. I think that's about all I have for you. I hope that reading was helpful. I hope that you might have found some inspiration there. Something to help you move forward in life. I think a good place to rest and recuperate and invest back in yourself a little bit is outside, isn't it? Outside in nature, whether that be in your garden, at the beach, at the forest, in the countryside, in the park, wherever it is. But I'm glad I picked the fairy, because I think that that sort of elemental energy is something that we can tap into in our outside spaces, isn't it? Excuse me, my voice is starting to go now from all the talking. Yeah, so keep things simple, hey? Pile number 2, keep things simple. Look after yourself, invest in yourself. Spend time in nature, spend time with those that you love. Eat well, drink well, sleep, rest. Tackle some of your thought processes. And keep going, really, I think is what I want to say. Because that's how we finish your reading here, isn't it, with the Eight of Cups, is they may be walking away, but they're walking away towards something new. A new phase of their life, a new phase of your life. And perhaps this new phase of your life will be a more kinder and more benevolent phase of your life towards yourself. As I said in pile number 1's reading, I think that energy is much needed in the world today, isn't it? A kinder, more benevolent, more compassionate viewpoint of people. I think there's so much talk of diversity and inclusiveness and, you know, the fact that we all have to accept each other. There's so much talk of that in the world today, but I think at the same time people have never felt more divided and more alone, actually. So, yeah. So that's my message to you, is invest some love back in yourself, as well as the people around you, as well as the people that you care about, as well as the world, as well as the universe. Invest within yourself. So if you liked my reading, if you got anything from that, I'd be really grateful if you give me a thumbs up, or you'd subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. That would make me really happy. That would be fantastic. I'd be very grateful. So look after yourself, pile number 2. Be kind to yourself, and maybe find something to laugh at. I don't mean laugh at somebody. I just mean something that you enjoy, whether that be a TV program, a film, a podcast, a video, a book, going out into nature and watching. I love watching the birds. They make me laugh. My cat makes me laugh. All sorts of things. It's a very, very important thing to be doing. So thank you. Look after yourself.